Hi guys, thank you very much for seeing me. Paulina here talking to you about full moon. Full moon in Sagittarius. Did you get it? Did you get the cosmic joke, perhaps? Did you feel it? Perhaps as we accelerate now, we can maybe start to understand the humor of Taurus over our lives. How we have done and what we have been compelled to do in the last couple of months as the year began on the 21st of March. Since Aries, we have done a few things and a lot will now have to be set aside as to what is and is not working, okay? Did you have a lot of mystery bubbles burst? Did you finally understand the value of your time? Did you find a quality about you that you did not know of before? Or did you finally find out something about your world? Did you burst some bubbles? Did you? The best thing now is not to walk towards the past and just to see things clearly. Okay, so here we have at the end of May a nice kicking into full conscious mind, I hope for many people. And by the 27th of May, it is so possible to see yourself with perfect eyes in Gemini. Perfect. So you're looking at yourself from the 21st of March. 21st of March till about the 26th, 25th of May. Just look at your life. Okay, we're at the beginning of the year still. Okay, we've gone through the first two signs. And now we can decide as to what was a little bit off and how come it didn't quite work out, what went really well, and what was surprising. Like, that was surprising. And how perhaps awful or really good things happened, and what were the seeds of trust and wisdom planted in Taurus to get us here together, I hope. Okay, so by the 27th of May, you would probably see as to who it is you attract, how you are, what terms and forms you have with people socially, and what reality has really trusted you with, and what you have to give, and what another person might not perhaps any longer respond to, and what they might respond to. Have a look, especially if you blog, what got the most views, what did not get any views. If you have tried to expand your lifestyle, you try to expand your mind, if you try to make yourself funny or curious or peaceful or something, have a look as to who you have become over time, how it gets treated, how it gets navigated. We are into a social time here in Gemini, hopefully. And now the context is yours. Delete that video. I know the one. Okay, delete that video, Perhaps stop writing songs that don't get an audience now, okay? Maybe perhaps for you, if you blog, and a lot of eclectic creative people are like this, we can have thousands of topics that we talk about, but only one or two of those topics are legitimately connected to the conscious all. And a few of those topics might just be about personal thoughts or personal ideas. Perhaps they only connect to a few or can just show us in a different way. So it's very nice here to solidify your light, to see your presence as legit, and to really trust yourself. Uranus and Taurus here, trust yourself to be exactly who you are and not to any more deviate from who you come across as to other people. So the thing here is identity crises are seen, and hopefully you don't have any anymore. Identity crises, so for example, today I'm a joker, tomorrow I'm the guru, the next day I'm a shaman, the next day I'm a quiet poet, the next day I'm nothing, the next day I'm walking down the street buying lots of items I don't need, and the next I'm dancing in front of a person that I don't probably believe, so it's like lots of different selves have to now be legit and connected to just one, and it is not about identifying yourself down to a very simple binary type of person. It is just about making it very, very obvious as to who you are, what's your creed, where you're from, who you are connecting to, what is it that you are connecting through, and what is it that is your drama. What is it that is your light? What are you teaching us all? and perhaps how you're traveling, how you're getting around, what's the crux of it, what's the point. And in there's going to be something. There's going to be something that teaches you the works. So the thing I see is that a lot of people don't want to be continuing on in one perfect line, because it is so easy and beautiful to be a thought for somebody else that perhaps is not a thought for another. So Snapchat, I'm like this, Facebook, I'm like that, Tinder, I'm like this, and Instagram, I'm like that. So people having lots and lots and lots of different wars inside, and perhaps by the time that the 29th hits and we have this incredibly illuminating, luminous, psychic, and very surprisingly good and just basic but very, very, very obviously structuring and aligning moon, where we are is going to stay. So if you could show up for yourself, show up for yourself. So easy. It's so easy here to spend money on things. It is so easy to just start relationships because they are looking good online, and it is so super, super cheap and easy to become suddenly, because it's very, very seductive. It's like, well, I'll just make myself fit, so try and make it a chronological linear energy. We've got Saturn going through Capricorn, we're imprinting here. It's a super duper imprinting time here in Gemini. I'm really sorry for being a little bit conservative here, perhaps. Not many people like it sometimes. So the main thing here is not to get messed up, because we are talking about truth. We are talking about really connective union with people. We are talking about being on the same page. If there is nothing going on, you're wrong. There's got to be something going on. There's got to be something going on for all of us, even if it is in the mind. The psyche is expanding. If you are interested in others, if you are thinking about other people, you're expanding. And if you're not, maybe perhaps there's some kind of a psychic resolution, some kind of perhaps a conspiracy theory you're working on. Maybe you're working on some mathematical problems. There's always something in the mind here, and unconsciously that all joins us all together, because the collective mind is growing, it is evolving, it is connecting. We're now free, we're now boundless. A lot of people are bouncing all over the psychic world. I'm feeling that people are really penetrating into worlds and situations where before they did not perhaps have access to, lucid dreaming, everything like that. Yeah, I know, it's weird, Gemini and Sagittarius, you really don't think there's going to be a psychic time, but it's a very psychic time. It is a very straightforward time as well. Keep things clean. It is very good when you have something unconsciously working out, something dreaming, something changing, something landscaping in the unconscious mind. It's very good to keep things clean, to clean up your act. And also, yes, cleaning up your act. Why? Because it is very possible here to be out of context for another. One other thing, yes, snapping off relationships. The snapping off relationships can be a traumatizing time. It is not easy here to say, I'm sorry, I did not mean it, because sometimes if you have done something in the years or months before, occasionally people will see the big picture. Here is a very interesting time for people to wriggle out of previous relationships. It is a very interesting time for people to start connecting to different scenes, different culture, but also sometimes coming back to something that they've missed before. It is a very, very awesome time to also regret the loss of something that actually meant for you something, but also if you don't regret anymore and you're seeing that it was what it was and you're no longer in pain or in worry about a relationship's ending or about a tortured part of your soul, note it and celebrate. Celebrate, you guys. Sometimes here during this type of transit you might find, hey, I'm not traumatized. I'm not a traumatized person. Maybe I'm not any longer the addict. Maybe I am no longer the person that is in trouble all the time. Maybe I'm no longer the no-gooder. Or perhaps I'm no longer uptight. I'm no longer uptight about these things. I'm no longer uptight about my life. And also very, very good time to reach for the stars. Reach for the stars. And if you've known for a long time who you were, or you sort of like started to really study yourself and see, oh my gosh, I actually did that out of unreason instead of out of reason, you're going to probably see yourself now a lot clearer. If you are a photographer and you have 7 or 8 different styles of photography, if you have nothing wrong with eclecticity, nothing wrong with variety, but at the same time during this time you might see that it is overwhelming to have too much. It is overwhelming to have too much structure. Okay, for example, if you have a lot of YouTube comments, you know, you have a lot of people talking to you, have a lot of people ringing you, I don't have the time. Okay, so just admit it to yourself that you don't have the time to socialize with certain groups of people, but you have a lot of heart and a lot of time for those that are close to you perhaps and that are doing the same thing. It is super easy to tell when a person's lying during this time. It is super easy to tell. It is also super easy to see when a person doesn't quite admit who they are. It's very, very easy here to see when a person is not happy. And it is also very easy to see when a person is saying they're sad, but they are not sad. It is super easy. So take advantage. We have a very frank full moon here, and we can truly, fully recognize perhaps when something is not right and when something is. So if you can take into account, take advantage of it being such an incredible time to shortlist things, to narrow down things. Look at your portfolio pieces if you work through portfolio. Look at your opportunities if you're working with opportunities. Look at your friends, you guys. Look at your friends. Look at who's next to you and why. And also maybe have a look if there's any regret. If you have gotten rid of things and you're over it, and say you had a few fights, but now you're just good, that's great. But just check it out. If something irks you and you're not sure, you're not certain, you're not trusting, that's not good. So have a look as to how you can clean up your act, basically, during this incredible, exciting full moon in Sagittarius. Another couple of things leading up to the end of the month. Don't know yourself so much. Okay, what I mean is, okay, for a lot of people at the moment, going inside and really feeling is hard. It's difficult. For some we can do it, you know, some people can do it. Some people can really, you know, feel inside, but quite often these feelings are romantic, emotional, abstract. You might, you know, lucid dream, you might see yourself as a butterfly, you might see a metaphor. But for a lot of people to really touch yourself and to just hold yourself still and go, who are you? Is difficult. It's really hard. And for many of us, actually getting to know that vulnerable and that prophetic side simultaneously is a mind warp. Mind warp, you guys. So to see the contrast of you, Gemini, so the powerful developer, which is on the outside small, and then the relationship builder, which is on the outside big. You know, it's a very interesting bridge. You know, it's very difficult here to see what is right, what's wrong sometimes, if we try to mend ourselves into one thing. But the thing that can sometimes be the most obvious thing is just the output of your life. So it's not about the inner, what do I feel like I am? Who am I? Like, how am I? You know, that's very, very hard to, it could even be very dark to understand. We've got Uranus in the previous house. It is dark and weird. And we've got Neptune and, you know, the moon doing things that I feel are very easy to mistake for something else if we go into the nitty-gritty too much. So also if you are a developing doctor or professor and you're trying to find something, writing a paper, sometimes if you go too much into the dimension of trying to explain yourself too much, you might find yourself kind of like tying yourself into a ball and not actually knowing how to get out. But if you are interested in experimenting with your life and trying to get it to a very, very nice secluded space where you could see yourself great, is usually about the outpour of your life. It's usually about the actions. It's quite often about the past. It's like, well, I'm the kind of person that would do this. Okay, what have I done? What were the truer moves? What did I do out of fear? And what did I do out of love? Okay, so like, what did I do because I wanted to commit? And what did I do because I couldn't help but commit? I just did it. You know, what did I do because I wanted this person? And what did I do because I would like to see them happy? You know, what did I do because I felt discovery was important, or I wanted to be discovered? And what did I do because it just happened this way, and it just so happened that, you know, like say my work got noted? What are the things that you are pushing the button for to get a result? It's like, what are the different ways that you are manipulating yourself, manipulating others, and manipulating your reality to get the best? And then what are the ways in which you just lucky? You just landed a job, or like you just landed that person, they just landed. It's like you're a cat and you fell and you landed on your feet. It's like you're endless, you are dominating, or it's like you are accidentally kind of winning. Where are those happy accidents? Also, yes, very easy to see for some people how you could improve your experience by being more honest, as well as being more, perhaps, it's not entirely so, but knowing as to what works. It's like, for some people, honesty is tearing their shirt up and getting, say, like, no connection to others. Like, they can tear themselves up and they say, this is the truth, but then they become almost like locked up energy, like they're not connected. And then for another person, perhaps it is something very simple, very flamboyant, and they perhaps don't know where it comes from, but they get recognized. So recognition from other people is a very difficult thing to really know about. So it's kind of like a business sense is needed for some people, especially if you're like a practical person with your social experience. Like, it's not just for your mates, like say you're trying to create a career, trying to build rapport at your job. So to have a very, very nice, secluded feeling about who you are and who you were and staying true, but also understanding what does not work. Say like turning up to the office and talking to a client about politics, when this has got nothing to do with the job, and scaring them a little bit. Perhaps it does not. But perhaps it does on a different scale. Maybe you should just write about it and, throw those notes away, or maybe like collect them and do a blog or something. It's just, the best thing though is to have a streamline thing. A lot of people do this day and age, I'm an accountant by day and I'm a stripper by night. Okay, so it's like I am a farmer by day and I'm a internet sensation by night. Okay, I am a gospel singer by day and a gambler by night. Or, I'm an artist by day and a singer by night. Maybe I'm a hairdresser by day and and a model by night. Sometimes it works, and a lot of the time it doesn't. Just see the dominant self. So by now, there should not be that much divination between personalities for most of us. If you are really challenged, and the minute that you center on yourself and you see yourself, usually it's almost like the ground just under your feet disappears and you want to be something else. Or the minute that feeling comes on, or you're triggered, or that person says something and you just fight them, like you want to fight you, or you want to fight everything. If you are like this with your temperance, if you are like this with your temperament, and you have no concept of grounding in terms of who you are and how you are coming across socially, it is so nice to get a grip and to have a look as to the most sincerest version and how to connect effortlessly. We have a very beautiful Taurus Uranus. Effortlessly, what's natural for you? Like a lot of people have to do a big show and dance to connect. They have to create a whole different person to connect. They have to put on a lot of makeup and do their hair to connect. Some people have to wear the suit and look very official to connect. Some people have to pretend that they don't know anything to connect as well, dumbing themselves down a lot. And I've been seeing this a lot. Very, very bright people just don't want to know. Some people have to put on the teeth to connect. How much difference are you between when you're in bed by yourself and nobody's gonna come in, and say when you're going to go to an official party, and say, for example, you're going to be in front of a very, very important or impressive individual? What are the different faces that you have between different people? How are you with your mum? How are you with next door neighbor? How are you with your person, your boyfriend? How are you with your child? How are you with your elder? How are you with anyone? How are you with your boss? How are you with, say, if the prince walked in through the door? How would you change? Would your face change? For a lot of people, not actually. I'm actually sensing a lot of people actually starting to get a little bit more solid on who they were and who they are and what they represent. But if you are not, and you're changing face. And if you get shy around certain people and very blushy, and then around other people you get very angry or get unaware, that's actually better. If you have extremes, okay, personality. If you have one flying extreme where you're just intense, and then another extreme is where you don't want to see anybody, you don't want to talk, okay, you can't see anyone. That can be in health. This can also be in personal drama or personal sense, especially see if that is an ongoing theme. And perhaps in between, there is no way of understanding who you are. That happens sometimes, especially with people that are here to feel more or to have a big outpour, create art. Sometimes there's like a classic Jekyll and Hyde personality. It would be very, very easy for you to maybe see or to dream how you would be with you during those experiences. If you can imagine, say for example, you come to your house, to your own house, and then you comes out and starts flaming. How do you feel as a bystander? And the other way around, if somebody's like this, they're not nurtured and they're not developing, they don't want to talk. I mean, they don't want to come into the situation. How would you feel having to be like, come on, you can trust me, this is okay? It is not easy, but the easiest way is to create self-empathy and self-compassion. I've done a Uranus and Taurus video also just earlier. So self-compassion and self-connection here can go a long way. Hug yourself. In Gemini, this is a hidden thing here. Every Gemini season, if you are able to create a friend of yourself first and foremost, you'll get the most. So have a look. Stop judging yourself. If you can, stop judging other people as well. So truth should now be on this platform of consciousness, as we've changed realities a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. We are doing it now. So the development of relationships is based hopefully entirely on truth, and perhaps you cannot see, but a lot of people can, that there is an unspoken language now developing again, which is amazing. But not many people can see there is an interdimensional language developing, and people can probably see and hear and also seek on the brain wavelength instead of the cultural or the verbal brain wavelength. Maybe people can now understand different types of person or personality, not through what the person is trying to communicate through, not the medium, not how they're looking, but maybe there is something else there. And it also feels to me that many of us cannot any longer hide. Come out, wherever you are. So if you would like, also know that truth is everywhere and truth is everything, and it is not just contained within he said, she said. It's not about the government or the people in your family. It is actually just all throughout. So the weaving of the honest vibration, that which is obvious, and it's very difficult to hide now, okay? It's very dark now for a lot of people that have created an identity based on for example, spiritual pleasure. It's very difficult for people who have created an identity based on humor and perhaps poking fun of themselves or others. And maybe for some, it's not going to be an easy way to go forward if they have become a like an unconscious personality or an unquestionable personality, if they have tried so hard to be the guy who does this or the girl that will always do this. It's very difficult. So we are becoming a lot more humble and human. And if you can, note that about yourselves and other selves, multiple selves, note that about yourself and other, how you have come to be as a more humble and more connected and perhaps a more real version of yourself. Look at your voice, look at your posture. This is not about pretense, not about ideals. It's just how you have come out of the last 2 months, how you've developed through the first 2 months of the year, and what you have learned in terms of people, magic, situations of control, power, money, and all these things, perhaps as the year has just begun. And out of all this, draw a nice, finite, perhaps for now, conclusion as to what you have learned. So thank you very much, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful time. Happy full moon. If you'd like to know more about me, it's in the caption section below. I've got free forecasts and readings and other things, and I'll be staying in New Zealand for the next while. If you'd like to ask for a reading, I do sometimes have lulls. So if you can be patient with me, that would be amazing, and I will inform of any changes that are to come. Thanks a lot and have a wonderful time. Bye.